Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Albert Bushels here from The Bolt. With me today is...
The host with the most, Ethan from Popcorn Talk, with special guest.
Matthew Johansson.
Welcome back, Matt.
Thank you.
So today we're going from Marvel movies to a type of Disney collaboration. We're doing top 5 Pixar films of our favorites of all time, for that matter. So let's get this list started with number 5. Actually, before we do that, does anyone have any honorable mentions to add before we get into it?
Honorable mentions, WALL-E.
For me, WALL-E is in that
WALL-E.
list. WALL-E was another one of those emotional films.
I agree.
Up is up there for me as well in terms of honorable
actually, no,
mentions.
Up's on my list. Oh, Ratatouille. I'm honorable mentioning that.
And my other honorable mention is
Bug's Life.
all 3 Toy Stories. Everyone is shook.
What?
The reason why
Is
my
because
top 5 movies are the top 5 movies because each and every single one of them have hit me emotionally and personally. So that's why every single one of these 5. So when you see toys have been a big part of my life. Don't get me wrong. But each one of those Toy Stories weren't really pivotal to my life. Yes, they made me happy. Yes, they made me cry. Yes, those were amazing movies. But they're nothing compared to my top 5 movies. Top 5, Matt.
Toy Story 3 is my number 5. I do think they should not be making a Toy Story 4. I thought Toy Story 3 would have been a perfect ending.
It is. It should have been.
I thought that ending was perfect. Toy Story 3 was just an all-around great film. When it was announced, I was so excited. Seeing all the characters again. I'm a big Woody fan and Buzz. I'm a big fan of all of them. Randy Newman's also a god at making the music. The animation, you see a huge improvement from the first one to the third. So, like, it's crazy to see, like, how far animation have went with these computer animated stuff. I remember watching Toy Story 3 and thinking these toys are real and, like, it's like an actor that's, like, small or something that's, like, playing these characters because it looks so real. Like, it's crazy to see, like, how far they came because who would ever think, like, these animated movies would be such a huge deal when there's all these big blockbuster films that aren't making so much compared to, like, what Toy Story can make sometimes. It's crazy to think that. And I thought the story was good. The acting, I mean, it's crazy to think that, like, what's his name? Who plays Buzz again? I can't think of his name off the top of my head.
Is it Tom Hanks?
No, Tom Hanks plays Woody, and then Tim Allen plays Buzz. And it's crazy to think that Tim Allen is playing Buzz Lightyear when it doesn't sound like him to me. And it's crazy to think out of all the actors, like Tom Hanks is playing Woody. Like, I think that's absolutely crazy to think someone that big of a name is doing an animated movie for this long now. 3 movies and the 4th one coming out next year.
And apparently it's going to be the most emotional ending of all time, which I don't think anyone is ready for.
I like 3 made me cry.
Yeah.
I cry like
Just imagine what number 4 is going to do.
I can't imagine. I'm literally terrified. So, I mean, overall, I thought everything about Toy Story 3 was just great. I mean, I have no complaints. Like, I have little minor things here and there, but like,
But just imagine if Toy Story 4 is as good as the first 3 installments, we could have ourselves a perfect saga. I don't think that's ever been done.
Who knows?
Period.
Who knows?
Yeah.
But, Toy Story 3, that's a good...
And I also just, one last thing, like, I also think Toy Story is the best example of a movie that anybody can watch, no matter what your age is. Like, 100%. I can be 90 and I'll still watch Toy Story, and I won't get bored of it. It's the definition of a family film, and it works so well because any age could relate to that. At one point of our life, we all had toys that we were dedicated to, and it's crazy to think that.
All right, my number 5 is Incredibles 2. Now, this is the most modern film out of my top 5 list. We waited 14 years.
I think I could have waited longer, honestly.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet, so I don't know how it is.
I think I could have waited longer for them to make this a little bit better.
I think I agree with you on that one. I still think it was really good in terms of characters. No spoilers, because I'm not going to spoil anything, because people haven't seen Incredibles 2.
Fresh,
Looking at Matt.
Yep.
But Incredibles 2, I thought, was a great sequel in terms of the story, in terms of the idea that it literally is 5 minutes after the first film.
Yeah.
I thought the animation was a huge improvement to what we saw in the first 2004 installment.
I have it right next to me. Incredibles.
Incredibles is 2004 because it was 14
yes,
years.
It is.
I thought the music was great. And for anyone who has not seen the film, the only thing I'm going to say to you to look forward to is Jack Jack. That's all I'm really going to say. I mean, Jack did steal the show in the first movie anyway, but just know that Jack is a huge
I'm
part.
excited.
Just definitely watch it. I think they have it on demand and probably Redbox and everything, but definitely
They
it's
should,
worth your
yeah.
time.
I'm excited.
Albert?
My number 5 is Up.
So
We
good.
start with
My
Up.
heart.
We start with a cute little. That first 5 minutes can already be a movie itself. And stop, please. I'm not ready. It's just emotionally pleasing. It's like
Yeah.
I wouldn't call it an emotional roller coaster because there's no many sharp turns. It's like an emotional boat ride. It's calm. It's enjoyable.
I like that.
And you just go through this whole experience of like pretty much reliving the life again. So yeah.
Good movie.
Heck yeah.
Number 4.
So my number 4 is the classic Finding Nemo.
Mm-hmm.
I just remember watching this film so many times as a kid, and like I still remember it off the top of my head. Like, and I know the scenes so well. I know when I'm gonna feel sad or when I'm gonna feel happy, and vice versa. It's also crazy to think that this film was released in 2003, and the
Crazy.
animation still holds up, and it looks like it's a film that
From
was
today.
made, like from today. Like it looks like. I haven't seen Finding Dory so much. Like I've watched it once or twice, but like from what I remember, the animation still looks kind of the same, which is crazy to think. And the characters are amazing. I love Nemo, obviously. I think we all love Nemo. But the storyline is great. Like the humor in it, the creativity, the imagination. It was a huge leap for Pixar, and it kind of made people realize that Pixar isn't
Jokes.
like a joke. Yeah, like it's all about. Like they have a lot of maturity in their storytelling. Like yeah, it's a kids movie, but it has those like mature themes in it. Like it's a good film. I have no problems with it at all too. Like my top 5 are all films that like I loved as a kid, and like I held on to them growing up, and I'm 20 now, and I can still watch these films like 20 times as like in a day almost, honestly. So that's just my opinion on Finding Nemo and why it's number 4.
All right.
Alright.
Number 4 for me. That it's such a good list of movies that it's hard for me to
Yeah.
just be like boom, boom, boom. Easier said than done. For me, number 4 is gonna have to go to Monsters Inc.
Yeah.
Monsters Inc.
That's a
at the
good choice.
time was such a interesting topic to think about. Monsters Inc. was a really new idea to a Pixar film. The idea of monsters feeding on children's energy in order to live. You got my boy, John Goodman, as James P. Sullivan. You have...
God bless John Goodman.
Yeah.
My
I love
God.
He's
watching him
amazing.
perform. My
Speed Racer.
God. But just such a weird film. Such a film for such an age in 2001 to have pretty amazing graphics.
Pretty good story.
A really good
Yeah.
story. It just screams fun. It just screams
no
unique.
pun intended.
We're nerds, but just it was so fun. It was cuddly. It was just such a film that shaped its era. Like I was 4 years old watching this film, thinking I'm gonna be scared. It's monsters, and then literally I go the next day to Disney and get a freaking Sully toy. Like it's just like it's like a film that touched a lot of kids' hearts. And you could debate on whether or not Monsters University did the same thing, but for me, I thought Monsters Inc. was just a great film overall, and I think that's number 4
And
for
that
me.
ending too, man. Who doesn't cry at the ending?
I didn't.
Are you kidding?
I laughed
Oh,
because you just see
God.
Mike Wazowski making jokes with a little black kid. He's like, "Hey, how are you?"
Oh my god, that
Just
ending
like
made me
that kid is
cry.
me.
My number 4 is Ratatouille.
It's a good
I
one.
really enjoy Ratatouille, and I just like the whole environment. It proposed and just so funny and just cheerful and everything. I like it. It's quick and simple.
I agree.
Number 3.
Number 3 for me, The Incredibles. So I have not seen The Incredibles 2, obviously. So Incredibles, I probably will think after seeing 2, the first one's still going to be better. This is honestly like a superhero movie. I mean, not even, like, it's not, it is a superhero movie, honestly. I mean, it's Pixar's first, like, attempt at making something different than what they're normally doing. Like, this was like you could say this is a dark movie, kind of, like a dark kids movie, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
kinda
Brad Bird was dark in the way making
Yeah.
this movie.
Like, this is a completely different direction
Like,
with what
watching
Pixar
it
went.
older, like you go like, wow, these people got murked.
Yeah.
But the graphics were dookie. The graphics were dookie. Like if you put them side by side with Incredibles 2, the graphics were truly. Well,
Yeah.
yes, obviously, but just like at the time, like yes, 2004 graphics were amazing explosions, but then you watch it now, and you're
Yeah.
just like, yeah.
But it was a really different direction. I love how they took it. I think it's a great film. Nothing wrong with it. And the composer, Michael Giacchino, might have pronounced that wrong, but he made an amazing score for The Incredibles. Exactly. And that theme is like stuck in everybody's head. Like I can hum that all the time. And it won't bother me.
My super suit.
Exactly.
Where's my super suit?
suit? So yeah, I mean, it's a great movie and there's nothing wrong with it in my eyes.
Good choice. My number 3 is Coco.
It's a good one.
Coco messed me up. Coco was introduced to me by my girlfriend, and she constantly told me to watch it. I never got a chance to until they put it on Netflix, and my sister was like, time to watch Coco. And I sniffled halfway through.
That's what I thought, too.
cried towards the end.
I thought to myself, like, oh, I'm not going to cry.
Like, I
It's
was like, my girlfriend's like, it's emotional. I was like, I'm ready. Literally, you hear singing, and I'm just like, the story was great. I mean, when I first went into it, I'm like, oh, great, another Dia de los Muertos, Day of the Dead film, another Disney animation version. What's going to be? Is it going to be like Book of Life? Is it going to be like something like this? And it was completely different. It was
People slept on Book of Life, by the way.
Book of Life is decent.
Yeah.
We won't talk about that now.
And I can also relate to you, by the way, because like my good friend Javi introduced me to Coco. Yeah, I know Javi.
I miss
Great
Javi.
person too. He introduced me to Coco in here actually in the comm lab, and I was like, oh yeah, let's watch it, I guess, because I didn't know what it was. And after watching it, literally I cried my eyes out, and then I watched it at home and cried again the same day.
I made my mom, I made my parents do that. I'm like, guys, you guys look serious right now. Let's put Coco on. My mom, I just hear, and I look, and my mom's just like grabbing the tissue box. I'm like, mission success. But for me, number 3 is Coco. Coco was amazing.
It was.
Albert?
My number 3 is The Incredibles as well. Just all the same reasons really hit it hard with all that.
Number 2.
Number 2 for me, funny, Toy Story 2. Toy Story 2 is a great movie. Again, I'm a big Toy Story fan, so anything Toy Story, even though I don't want the 4th one, I wasn't asking for it. I'm still going to watch it. I'm sure everybody else will too, most likely. I'm a Toy Story fan, though. Forever will always be one. And I just thought the story was great. I love everyone in it. And again, the acting's on point. The animation's great for the time. The score is amazing. The story, everything about it is perfect in my eyes. And I can just watch it. This is probably my most watched film of all time. One of them at least. Yeah. When it comes to animation-wise, my most watched besides Toy Story, like 1 and 3.
Number 2 for me is Finding Nemo. Finding Nemo at the time was one of my first watched films besides Lion King. Finding Nemo was just a very all of these movies are emotional if you really think about it.
Yeah.
Just the message of everything, but just seeing a little fish being separated from his dad and seeing the whole entire trip the dad does, meeting strangers and, getting every single help possible to find his son. And at the same time, the son doing everything in his power to find his dad is just, that's heart-throbbing.
Yeah.
But just the animation is great. I think this film came out, what, 2001 or 2003?
It was 2003.
2003,
Yeah.
okay. And it still, to this day, has one of my favorite songs of all time. I think you know what song I'm talking
I
about.
believe I do.
Which one?
Beyond the Sea.
Yeah,
Oh,
Beyond
okay.
the Sea is a good one.
And my favorite animation character of all time is in this, Bruce the Shark.
Bruce the Shark.
So that's not my number 2.
My number 2 is Toy Story 3. Very emotional movie, very perfect ending. When that came out, my sister was going to college at the time,
Oh, wow.
so it really resonated with me and her and everything. So it was very emotional for us.
I cry every time. At
Oh
that
yeah,
ending,
no, I
man.
cry. I told myself, I should be fine. No, I get to me. I'm like,
I've seen that
Dad,
movie like
yeah.
100 times, and I still cry every time.
All right, number 1.
The number 1 is Toy Story 1, and it's the introduction to Toy Story, the whole franchise. A great introduction. The whole story on how this film was made and what led to it being made, and the whole hardships of it being made is crazy to think. And overall, I think it's the best film. Nothing wrong with it at all.
Buzz's face always makes me laugh when I look at the poster because that eye is just like, hey, yo, ma.
that's not a truck. We're not aiming for the truck.
Albert, what's your number 1?
My number 1 is Coco.
That's a good
having
one.
my grandmother pass away like recently with that, and just being like Hispanic, and that whole movie just really resonated with me completely. Like the way how they had the mom move and the grandmother
Yeah.
move, like wow, that is literally hitting home. When she gets to that center line to beat her grandson, retweet, relatable. Ethan, what's your number one?
Ratatouille.
Wow,
Ratatouille
okay.
Not bad at
was
all.
Oh, interesting, but
one
not
of those,
shook.
just like Thor. It's one of those films that makes me so happy, that brings me so uplifted. It's another Brad Bird directed film, so you know he has great insights. But Ratatouille was the introduction to me wanting to cook. Ratatouille taught me that anyone can cook. Ratatouille taught me that I have the capabilities to cook, because if a rat was able to cook, I was able to cook. The animations were great. The story was great. Another emotional movie that I think made me cry once or twice. It's just such a movie about redemption. A kid who was looked at so badly ends up being like a hero at the end. And Patton Oswalt, only film that I'll ever watch him in. But other than that, Ratatouille is just my favorite Pixar film of all time. It will remain my favorite.
Good choice.
Nice.
All right. Thank you guys for listening on to Top 5 Pixar films. Thank you, Matt, for stopping by again. Thank you,
Anytime.
everyone, for listening. Bronx Movie Critic is that Instagram page. Don't forget to follow through and hear some amazing opinions.
Matt MYR Fan 10 is my Instagram page.
I'm Albert Bushels from The Ball, signing off. Thank you for listening for another episode of Popcorn Talk. Take care, everyone.